You may be seated. The gospel lesson this morning is from St. John's Gospel, the 7th chapter, beginning at the 37th verse. On the last day of the festival, the great day, while Jesus was standing there, he cried out, "Let anyone who is thirsty come to me, and let the one who believes in me drink. As the scripture has said, out of the believer's heart shall flow rivers of living water." Now he said this about the Spirit, which believers in him were to receive, as for yet there was no Spirit, because Jesus had not yet been glorified. Here ends the gospel for this day. Our song is Forward Through the Ages. You may remain seated as we sing. Once upon a time, the people of the little Italian city of Gubbio are understandably very proud of their beautiful home. And then one night a shadow comes out of the nearby woods and prowls the streets. In the morning, the people of Gubbio find a mangled and gnawed dead body. This happens again and again. And finally, an old woman says that she has seen a wolf on the streets at night. The terrified people decide to ask a holy man who has a reputation for being able to talk to animals for his help. And they send a delegation to get St. Francis. They have very specific ideas on what St. Francis should tell the wolf. First, he should preach to him and remind him to obey the commandment against killing and to follow Christ's commandment about loving God and neighbors. And then, just in case, since a wolf is, after all, a wolf, he should tell the wolf to move to someone else's city. Francis goes into the forest to meet the strange shadow, addressing it as Brother Wolf. And then he returns to the town square. My good people of Gubbio, the answer is very simple. You must feed your wolf. The people are furious, especially with the suggestion that this uninvited beast is in their midst and somehow to be regarded as their wolf. But they do feed it, and the killing stops. I thought of that story with the lesson today because someone said to me this week, no matter where I turn, I feel like the wolf is at the door. There are so many things going on in our world today, and the tragedy in Burma is just one of them. The wolf is roaming places in our world all over today. I think of the war and the thousands, even into the millions of refugees who are moving around trying to find some place to get food and some place to take shelter and some place where the people would receive them and let them live there. And they're constantly on the move. And we think of the disaster in Burma as the numbers mount. It becomes unbelievable. But you know, since the tsunami, which happened years ago, when 229,000 were killed, it doesn't seem like that much, does it? That entire populations in villages, like the whole town of Holden, could be wiped out and everyone would be gone. And yet we've seen so much tragedy and suffered so much pain because of what goes on in the world that sometimes I think we get a little immune to this. And on top of the tragedy in Burma, there is the military government there who's not sure they want to let people in to help. And so the tragedy gets magnified. And I can imagine people who are experts in disaster relief and who are sitting on piles and piles of food and water and all the other things that these people need, thinking to themselves, this government is not going to let us in. What must they be thinking? What kind of language are they speaking, which we certainly don't understand? And then the food prices are going up all over the world, and havoc has been caused in many places, and there have been riots and deaths in places like Somalia and Haiti, where there are a lot of poor people and a lot of hungry people. And then, of course, we have the issue of oil. A friend of mine received news from the oil company this week that her oil bill is going to be $210 a month more than it was last year. Is this enough to deal with? Are there enough wolves at the door? And on top of that, we've got crazy people like the Yankee fan who runs her car into a group of Red Sox fans and kills someone. It's a game with a bunch of high-priced, overpriced, elite athletes making a fortune. And people are killing each other over this? Are there answers to this? Are there any answers to this? Is there a way to achieve peace? We have often said and thought, and I know in Bible study a couple of times, people in the midst of Bible study say, why isn't it that why can we not find a way to live in peace around this world? What are the barriers? Why can't we do this?